Most delays in construction don't happen because of bad luck. They happen because of bad planning. And in this video, I'm going to show you the 5 core pillars that separate delayed and expensive builds from the high-performing, efficient ones, and exactly how to avoid the biggest scheduling mistakes in the game. I've managed £9 billion of global real estate projects, from individual units to mega projects, and the difference between smooth delivery and total chaos is almost always the quality of the schedule. Every great schedule needs a clear direction. When does the project or task need to start? But more importantly, when does it need to be finished by? Let's break down the first pillar. To start, you must know where you're going. I once took over a £200 million mixed-use project that was already 7 months behind by the time the foundations were being poured. Why? No one had ever locked in a hard end date. End of Q4 isn't a deadline, it's vague. When I stepped in, we reverse engineered the entire schedule from the anticipated handover date, and we rebuilt the whole thing back to front. This should be the foundation of every schedule you build. Lock in your non-negotiables, your handover dates, and any other critical milestones. Reverse engineer your schedules from the end date, and finally, communicate it. Every stakeholder should know your end date better than the name of the project. Now you've got a project and a real deadline and a mountain of tasks between A and B. It can feel overwhelming. That's why pillar number 2 is break the project into chunks. I've seen Gantt charts with over 150 line items on them, yet no one can tell you what stage the project is actually at. It's total chaos. Let's use a real-world example to simplify this first. Imagine your to-do list says food shop, work calls, gym, dentist, meeting, dinner, emails. That's just one unorganized, overwhelming list of things to do. But if you group them into health, work, suddenly you're managing 2 projects and not 7 individual items. And that's exactly how you want to manage your schedule. The easiest way to break down projects is to split it into around 5 or 6 big chunks. For example, you might have the substructure, the superstructure, fit out externals, commissioning, and closeout. Give each one of these subsections their own weekly reporting cycle, and suddenly everyone knows what done looks like, and progress significantly accelerates. And if you want a shortcut, I've created a completely free Excel template that is an end-to-end program and schedule for a construction project. Download it from the description below. Okay, once your schedule is in a manageable format, it's time for what might be the most important pillar of the 5, and that's sequencing. You can't have the roofers showing up to site before the framing is finished, and you can't have the painters coming in before your MEP is finished. It's a simple pillar to understand, but a tricky one to master. So how to ensure your site isn't filled with contractors charging you to sit around drinking tea and waiting for their turn. The fundamental principle here is knowing the outline of which order the trades need to go in, having a rough idea of how long each trade should take, and then perfectly aligning that within your program. We've given you an overview of how long each task should take in the free template we've provided below. Think of it as a relay race. Electricians will start their part of the race. When they finish, they hand over to the painters. It's all about managing areas in parallel and not waiting for one contractor to be completely finished before you bring in the next one. Get this right and your site runs like clockwork. Now the next pillar is the trickiest of all, but before we dive in, if you're getting value from this, then hit the subscribe button. We're a new channel and your support helps us out massively. Alright, even with the perfect sequencing, if your timing is off, the whole thing will collapse, which brings us to pillar number 4. Estimating your durations. Remember the £200 million mixed-use project from earlier? The fit-out for an element of that project was scheduled to take 5 weeks. When I took over, I redid the entire schedule, and I went into the absolutely microscopic detail of how long each trade was taking and who they were assigning for the project. When I dove into the detail, I found out that the fit-out had only calculated that they required 2 gangs to fit out this project. We asked them to increase that up to 4, and the 5-month timeline shifted down to 3 months. Yes, it cost us about 10% more in the overall cost of that individual trade, but we saved far more than that on the prelims by saving 2 months. If your trades can't tell you their daily outputs, they don't know their business. Push them to give you real dates and not a gut feel. If you don't, you're the only one who pays for it. Finally, pillar number 5 is the easiest to apply, but one that 99% of developers overlook. Keep the schedule visible and up to date. Let me say that again. Keep the schedule visible and up to date. If something unexpected comes up, everything has to shift, and everybody working on the project needs to know. I've seen teams working off schedules that were weeks out of date, costing time, money, and stress. This is something we see in the industry all the time, and the bigger the project, the more likely you are to have someone working on outdated information. And here's how you fix it. Print the updated schedule every Monday. Pin it somewhere everyone can see it. Date it and add a column for changes so updates jump out to people and old versions get binned. Keep a live version online using Google Sheets or Dropbox so off-site teams are always in sync. If you do this, you'll keep your project moving forward with everyone on the same page. Great scheduling isn't about having to learn new complex software. It's about good decisions. Start with vague, unclear instructions and you'll stay behind. But do the legwork up front and you'll deliver profitability even through tough markets. And if you're ready to lead projects like the elite, in this video we'll break down the 7 habits of highly profitable projects. Thanks for your time, and I'll see you in the next one.